that sort of devices
And a rollable
and the
one as
rollable
well.
ones. I think they're going to be more conventional. If you go around and see, I myself am.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand all the latest cues on the D Street, from the benchmark index moves to the sectoral indices and also the stocks that have been buzzing in trade, and the development on the Adani Group stocks that continue to rally on the fourth consecutive session today. Of course, news flows backing the kind of rally that we've seen today, and what should be your strategy on the Adani Group stocks amid all this bounce as well. We'll come to that with an expert view, but first up, a quick check on how the markets are doing at this point in time. Pretty good actually at the middle of the day, and 770 points of an upside is what you can spot on the Sensex, 59,680. The Nifty is also hovering around 17,555, about 235 points higher, or 1.3% uptick is what we can spot on this index as well. Let's also look at how the broader markets are doing at this point in time, the mid cap and the small cap 100 indices, and whether they've been also participating in the index moves that we've been getting on the benchmarks. So the mid cap 100 index is up by 0.6% odd right now. About 200 points of an uptick can actually be seen for that one. The small cap 100 index is also moving higher, 0.8% higher, near the day's high level as well. So there's participation coming in from that one as well. Amid the sectors also, if we'll see which are the sectors that are really contributing to the gains today, all the sectors of the Nifty are bright in the green. You can actually see the PSU banks rallying, and how 5% uptick for the PSU banks today. The Nifty PSU bank, that's the index you need to watch out for. 5% sharp upside today, followed by the metals that are shining bright again, 2.5% uptick for this one, nearly in fact 2% uptick for the Nifty bank overall as well, pulled by this PSU bank's move. Financial services doing well, 1.8%. The realty index continuing its momentum from yesterday, about 2% higher. Private banks, metals, IT, FMCG, pharma, you name it, all the sectors are actually up in the green. Market breadth clearly favoring the bulls at this point, 36 advances to 12 declines when we talk about the Nifty 50 stocks. The stocks that are on the up move, two stocks from the Nifty 5 gainers today are from the Adani pack. Adani Enterprises up 13.5% at 1825. Adani Ports up by 9%, a very sharp rally being seen for that one, and the rest of the stocks as well. SBI, Bharti Airtel, SBI Life, so SBI twins up into the green as well. SBI is in fact up 5%. That's the stock you need to watch out from the PSU banking space too. On the losing side, you have Tech Mahindra, Ultratech Cement, Asian Paints, Cipla continuing its downward run for the third day consecutively, and Nestle also down in trade as well. So those are the stocks that you need to watch out for. But we'll quickly check in with our guest as to what the market setup really looks like to him. We are joined by Vinit Bolinjkar. He's the head of research at Ventura Securities. Welcome, Mr. Bolinjkar, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. First up, your thoughts on the markets, the buoyancy that we are witnessing today. Again, another day of a bounce, but the question is, will this sustain? Because we did see a bounce on Wednesday. Yesterday, there was a pullback again. So how do we see the markets and maneuver through these ups and downs that we are witnessing on a daily basis?
So, essentially this softness that we are seeing from 1800 plus levels, which came down to 17300, was purely on the debacle of the Adani stocks and the possible fallout that happens out of this. But with the fact that, GQG has come and invested money into the company, although in a secondary transaction, actually marks the entry of a very highly respected quality growth manager, putting 16,000 crores or $2 billion or 2% of his AUM at play into the Adani stocks, and not just one, across all four major companies.
Yeah.
And his take was that he's getting fantastic assets at mouth-watering valuations.
Absolutely.
So once that sentiment has been portrayed, and with that, the Adani stocks have rallied back up again. So essentially what has happened is that this GQG investment has put a floor under the stocks. And apart from that, what we are seeing is that the PSU banks, which are also a kind of a collateral damage to the Adani Group, because they were also dragged into this controversy, are putting up a smart recovery. So if you want to understand where we go from here, so one thing I can say is that only when money comes directly into the Adani stocks in the form of debt refinance or with equity investments, will we see another rally take place. Now, investors will be wondering what should be the fair valuation of Adani stocks at present day. So I believe that a price of 2000 plus would be a fair value
Okay.
given the cash flows that are emanating from the existing businesses. We have valued these cash flows at about 3000 per share. And if you take into consideration holding company discount on all these aspects, I believe that Adani can easily be valued at about 2000 to 2000 rupees per share, depending upon what is the holdco discount that you give it.
All right.
With
So,
regards to
yeah,
the
yeah.
other Adani stocks, I think Adani Ports is extremely undervalued. And if you are seeing the way the rupee is going bilateral, we've signed 30 with 30 countries. We've got into direct UPI transactions, and there are 60 countries apart from a 30 more which have already come in looking at doing bilaterals with India. So our trade is really going to pick up, and there could not be a better play than Adani Ports as a proxy on India's EXIM trade going forward. So I think this stock is extremely undervalued, and if you were to stay invested over the next 2 years, I think you will get some very handsome valuations. Probably you could double your money.
Oh, okay. So that's for Adani Ports. Other stocks also from the pack that you really like? Are there
So
any other stocks also?
if you see yesterday's press release that has come in from the Adani desk, what you'll notice is that they have not gone back on their vision of for 45,000 gigawatts by 2030. So, so today they are at they'll be ending March 2023 at about 10,000 plus gigawatts. So that means they're still maintaining a target of 4.5x from here,
Yeah.
and that requires phenomenal kind of capital to be put in. So with Adani Solar, Adani Green, I would be looking to watch when if they can get some refinance on their further projects. So once that comes through, then the signal is green to buy safely into the stock. But it is better to be safe than to be sorry. So I wouldn't mind buying the stock at a higher level.
Bilkul. That's right. Exactly. You wanted to talk to us about the other facets also. How do you really see this panning out through the other, like throughout, we've seen this transaction go through, but how will the benefits really accrue on the balance sheets as well going forward from here? Is this the right time to pick up the stake, or should one wait until the transaction goes through? What should be the strategy?
So if you look at so we spoke about three counters, right? So I think that Adani Enterprises and Adani Ports one can look to invest in, whereas Adani Green is one thing that I would wait for the some clarity to emerge on how they're going to fund it. And as far as Adani Transmission and is concerned, I think the stock is available again at distressed valuations, and one can easily invest in this stock even with the current portfolio that they have, even if they do not go in for any expansion on that.
Right. What about the cement pack on Ambuja, ACC? Is that a space that one should also look at? Because the companies have been solid businesses in themselves. And after coming into the Adani ambit, will they continue to grow as much?
So I think if you look at Adani Ambuja Cements from the perspective of the other valuations of the other stocks, I think it is fairly valued. Now it needs to be seen how much efficiency can be infused into the company by the Adani Group. They have been giving very tall and ambitious targets on that, but we need to see how that will pan out. So I would give it one more quarter before getting into the stock.
All right. So apart from the Adani group of stocks, if you are also looking at the kind of momentum that we are seeing built on the PSU banks as well, most of which have been the lenders to the Adani group and somehow have been looking at this entire uncertain situation. There was some kind of reluctancy in extending some future loans as well. Will this coming on board of GQG also give them more promise and give them more credibility in terms of raising debt going forward from here too? And for
So,
the PSU banks, how would you advise investors to approach?
so I would take cues from what the BOB chairman said. He said that if the assets of Adani portfolio are good, they wouldn't mind throwing their balance sheet at those projects. So, so they are not averse to lending. We already have court monitored committee set up to look at the dealings of this of Adani Group, and I'm sure that Adani uh, portfolio of businesses is uh, you know regulated by several different regulatory agencies. So, for example, power would be regulated by the power regulator. Roads would have uh, the 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 NHAI. If you see solar green, you have SECI coming into the picture. So, I don't see there being too much of any issues cropping up in these portfolios because they are all well regulated businesses, even the airports, for example. So, I think that, if I were to wager, I think that Adani's have a high probability of coming out clean through this inquiry. And so, I would not mind taking a small risk with the PSU banks. They are absolutely deep value when we consider their relative valuations with the private sector banks, and hence BOB, SBI, Canara Bank, Bank of India will find a place in my portfolio.
All right. The metals pack is also showing some kind of bounce. Is there any structural value to this bounce that we are witnessing, or would you still be a little cautious on this space?
So China opening up is what is driving these stocks, but I would still wait to see how the inflationary trends play out and what is the kind of cues we get on the interest rates before really entering into these stocks.
All right, understood. And any particular stock picks that you have on your mind, which you can share with all our viewers? Any stocks that have come into your spotlight, recently, where you believe that medium to long term considerable gains can be made?
So I think investors should look at the entire auto and auto ancillary pack. I think after 5 years of turbulence, they are seeing a lot of tailwinds, and the story can only get better from here. You have nothing to lose at these valuations. We like Tata Motors, we like Maruti, we like Mahindra Mahindra, and a host of the other ancillary packs. In fact, we are more bullish on the ancillary stories given the fact that they have a global flavor. And a lot of businesses are moving out of China, trying to set up supply chains in India. And Atmanirbhar Bharat and the PLI would definitely help them to build on that story. In fact, recently we have been interacting with a lot of the ancillary players, and they've all shown a lot of promise, not only from the auto pack, but also from non-auto businesses that are looking to outsource to India. So we
All
are
right.
quite bullish on this story.
All right, understood that. Well, thank you so much, Vinit, for being with us on the show and discussing with us all these various facets of the markets, the Adani Group development, and how should investors be really looking at some of these stocks, and also the other baskets that are buzzing in trade as well. Always a pleasure having you with us on Business Today TV. We'll continue to catch more insights from you going forward too. Let's take a look once again on the benchmark indices for all our viewers. 720 points up, 59,626 for the Sensex right now. The Nifty is also hovering higher by 218 odd points. A good 1.2% uptick is what you're able to spot. Of course, led by the momentum in the Nifty bank that have actually got this cue from Adani Group stocks, the GQG picking up stake as well. So that's really led to the momentum as per Vinit as well. Then that's the domestic cues helping the markets really pick up pace. But will this sustain is the big question, because we close the week today. But will this rally continue in the next week is going to be something that we'll keep an eye out on. So do stay tuned on to with us on Business Today TV to catch all the updates on the world of business and stock markets. You can also continue to engage with us on our social media platforms. That's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn and Instagram. Many thanks for tuning in for now.